Minister to resign.
Mr. Speaker.
Louise Upston.
Mr. Speaker, I am somewhat pleased to stand and take a call on this issue. I'm not pleased, Mr. Speaker, because there is absolutely no argument in this House that this security breach is appalling, and there's damage that has been done as a result of this breach. What I do find objectionable, though, Mr. Speaker, is that members in this House stand here and say that they have not heard the Minister come to her feet and explain in some detail exactly what has happened. Instead, what do? They go into emotive language and scaremonger about information that may have been made public. That's what I find offensive, Mr. Speaker. The Minister stood here 10-15 minutes ago very clearly fronting this issue. She stood here, fronted the issue, said she would make information available as it comes to her. She read an apology from the Chief Executive of the Ministry of Social Development. Mr. Speaker, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with how quickly, when this serious breach came to light, how quickly and how rapidly those kiosks were shut down. So the threat, as soon as it was identified, was shut down. And then not even 2 days later, we're not even 48 hours later, there's not only an independent review underway, the consultants have been appointed, Deloitte, and they are underway. So, Mr. Speaker, there is no debate. There is no debate that this is a serious breach. But what there is a debate about is the fact that this side of the House fronts up, deals with issues as they go wrong and focuses on the problem, not petty politics, not scaremongering, not scaring the New Zealand public. I mean, it's an absolute joke, Mr. Speaker, that on Sunday morning that member of the opposition went on television to say that she would support perhaps some of the issues in the white paper for vulnerable children. But not even 48 hours later, she's using this to attack those same children. And here we have from another party suggesting that they would use this information as a shopping list for pedophiles. That's despicable. That is absolutely despicable language in this House. It's a breach. We recognise that. The Minister, the Chief Executive have got onto it. They are dealing with it. So now what is important is that this issue is taken into focus, that it is looked at in every level of detail possible to ensure that it doesn't happen. This is a problem. We're not saying it's not. The Minister stood there 15 minutes ago and fronted up with some detail about what information was potentially accessed. She talked about how absolutely mortified she was that there had been a breach. And so for that side of the House to then use it to attack what the very constructive work that over 10,000 New Zealanders have contributed to in a white paper for vulnerable children, that's what's despicable. Because actually, this is a government that's focusing on what's important. It's focusing on what's important to New Zealanders. Now, I'm not going to stand here and have criticism from a minister that I believe is the most courageous Minister of Social Development we have had in this country. Is she going to sit back and let generations rot on benefits? No, she's not. She's taking the hard calls. She's reforming the system that side of the House didn't have the guts to deal with. She's dealing with the issues of fraud and constituents in my electorate.
Order. A point of order. Chris Hipkins.
Mr. Speaker, I didn't interrupt the member immediately because I was expecting you to interrupt. The member can't accuse other members of the House of lacking guts.
Well, technically the member is right. Generally, we apply that ruling when it's referred to an individual. It was, in terms, a general one. In my view, it is inappropriate, and I'll just ask the member to desist.
Mr. Speaker, as I was saying, this is a government that's focusing on what matters to New Zealanders. What matters to New Zealanders is having a system of welfare that supports those in need, that recognises that work is the best opportunity for families and children, and we are taking the hard calls to protect the most vulnerable in this society, not playing petty politics with them like that side of the House.
Charles Chauvel.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Mr Speaker,